Welcome to the Pacesetter Pod, where we explore and reveal the perspectives, insights, and approaches to deliver great results and growth in your agribusiness through better execution. Here's your host, the Integration Pacesetter, Joe Mosier.
Hello and welcome to the Pacesetter Pod. I'm your host, Joe Mosier. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with us today. As most of you know, last year Charlie Munger passed away. Charlie was the famous multi-decade partner to Warren Buffett. He was the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway for a very long time. And he was a man who Warren Buffett very recently cited as the, quote, architect of Berkshire Hathaway, which is a phenomenally successful, resilient, and enduring company and within the U.S. economy. Sort of unrivaled in terms of its ability to generate returns over an extended period of time. And like many of you probably, it's caused me to kind of go back and read some of Charlie's writings throughout the years. Part Charlie's Almanac, some of the history, just trying to glean the wisdom from this icon of not just investing, but business leadership, of business philosophy, of cutting through the BS to get to what is the actual truth of a matter. How do you assess performance? How do you evaluate potential? How do you make decisions? I mean, he was just so rich with learnings for so many of us. And we're very fortunate it's all codified in speeches and transcripts and books and articles and interviews and shareholder meetings for decades and decades. So as part of my consuming some of his content, as many people have, you refer back to this infamous or famous 1986 commencement speech he gave. I think it was at a private high school, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes gets misquoted as Harvard Business School. I think it was actually a Harvard something secondary school. But in this speech, in this commencement speech, he outlined the need to avoid 5 things that will guarantee a miserable life. And as I read those old transcripts of that speech, and also some of the articles have been written about it since then, I started thinking about this in the context of the recipe for a miserable M&A integration, right? So we talk a lot on this show about many topics related to agribusiness and strategy execution, but also M&A specifically. I started thinking, if I wanted to give somebody 5 ways to really screw up their integration, what would it be? Specifically, what are the things that one should do if they want to just really foolishly misallocate capital? If they want to needlessly distract their employees? If they want to make sure they really harm customers and they just broadly destroy value under the guise of growing the business, what would I tell them? And so that's what I want to share with you today is my 5 ways to ensure that you suffer an absolutely miserable M&A integration. First, and this is perhaps, it actually is the most important. First thing you need to do, forget why you did the deal. Pay no mind to the strategic objectives that led you to look at the acquisition in the first place. Ignore all the economic analysis that you did that helped you define the right price for the expected value of the business. And certainly you need to invest as little time as possible into aligning any of those deal objectives and economics into your integration action planning. Forget all that. That was just about getting the deal done. Integration's in a completely separate and unrelated set of steps. Knowing why you did the deal and how it advances your strategy is going to be dead weight, and it needs to be jettisoned. That was just about justifying the deal. Again, you don't need to worry about it anymore. So the first way to ensure a miserable M&A integration, just forget why you did the deal. Unburden yourself. The second thing you want to do is you want to turn inward. Now that you've closed that deal, and now you're thinking about trying to bring those businesses together, just look inward. Focus on what is most expedient and most convenient to you, and only if possible, your customers. All those points of tension, all those instances of complexity, all those really tough questions to answer, the things that are going to cause pain and friction in the business, they need to be exported. All that ambiguity, outsource it. Focus on fixing all that you can within the 4 walls of your business before you look further than the end of your own yard. Just believe that your customers are resilient. Just trust that they love you. Have faith that your suppliers are patient and that they need you more than you need them. You can worry about your customers and suppliers later. You can even worry about them much later if you're so inclined. Just remember, look inward. The third thing you want to do to suffer a miserable M&A integration is trust that it's going to get done and everything will be okay. Just blindly trust. Yes, this is a seismic event for your business. Yes, you have deployed an excessive amount of capital to get the deal done. Yes, you've put your reputation on the line. You've mortgaged the brand of the business based on this just working out. All you need is just some quote unquote good business people to put on it. Knowing the business is enough. Just trust that your people understand what you're trying to accomplish. Even though, mind you, you've already tossed out why you did the deal. See back to rule number 1.
Poorly executed mergers and acquisitions destroy more value than they create. They can set your company back years. To defend your firm's position in the marketplace, you need access to the leading practices that unlock the greater potential of your people, processes, and systems. If you are undertaking a company transformation or pursuing an acquisition as a vehicle to grow, set up a call with Joe by visiting www.moshercg.com.
Just trust that they know that all the complex interactions among the components of the new organization and how they're going to work. Just trust that they can predict all the points of tension and conflict with precision. They can predict them. They can plan for them. They can mitigate them. And of course, just assume that they can do all of this in addition to their day job. How hard could it be? Sure, these folks, these good business people that know your organization, that know your customers, that know how you make money, that know how you do your work. Yes, they were fully allocated prior to the deal. And yes, they were terribly busy running things as is before the transaction closed. And sure, they're critical to booking sales and leading production and ensuring fulfillment. Of course, they were critical to the old business. But they're good business people. They can double hat this challenge. That's no problem. This is additive to their day jobs, but they can handle it. You don't need help. They don't need help. You don't need any expert auxiliary capacity to guide and execute the work of an integration. You just need your best people to go ahead and get it done. That's enough. So again, number 3, just put your good business people at it and assume it's going to get done. The fourth thing you need to do is extend that trust into the future and don't waste time measuring progress or performance. You are free and unburdened and unanchored to why you did the deal in the first place. We've already talked about that. You've established that acting in the best interest of your company is the only interest in mind at all. And you've put your best people to the task of getting it done, whatever it happens to be. You certainly don't need at this stage to monitor the integration. You don't need to frivolously use time asking if progress is being made, asking if the progress that is being made is consistent with the progress that was planned or expected. Remember, you didn't even have a plan to begin with. It's okay. If you trust your people to get it done, trust in the future that what they got done is going to deliver what you expected. You definitely don't want to start asking questions now about what the acquisition is going to do to sales, about what it's going to do to volume, what it's going to do to margin or profitability. Remember, you forgot how you did the deal. It's okay. Don't worry about performance and measurement. Just extend your trust. It was a good deal. I recall that it made good sense. I remember that we liked it when we did it. That feels good. Surely there must be something else on the horizon for you to be focused on. You're the leader. You drive the business. Just look out the windshield. You don't need the rear view. Don't worry about it. And fifth and finally, and this is really important, be sure to celebrate the successes and punish the shortcomings. You put your best people on it and they get stuff done. And when that stuff gets done, you can just shower them with attaboys and attagirls. And recognition like that always shows that just shows that we knew that we could count on them. We always knew we could count on them. We knew they could do it. But if they don't do it, again, whatever it is, that's really disappointing. Especially now. This was a big deal. We deployed a lot of capital. We made big promises. We promoted this as part of our strategy. We can't afford for this not to go well. This was supposed to grow volume. Why have we actually lost ground? This was supposed to expand margins. What do you mean we have lost leaders that are among the highest growth categories? This was expected to improve our manufacturing distribution capabilities. What do you mean we're having a hard time hitting spec? Don't tell me that we're having lots that are getting lost with all the new internal transfers. That's not what was supposed to happen. We told our customers that we would have a complete suite of products and solutions that we could never offer before. So explain to me, why do they need to still submit orders through 2 legacy portals? Why are they receiving different invoices with different payment terms from different legacy companies? We committed to ownership and to the board that this would be accretive to earnings by now. How can you tell me that we've destroyed value over the last 6 months and that we don't have a timeline to return to profitability? That it's unclear? I can't accept that. Don't you know how to do your job? Do you still belong here? You need to, as a leader, expect success and make sure that you demonstrate no tolerance for challenges and turbulence. Do these things and you'll be on track. You'll be dialing it in. Forget why you did the deal. Turn inward. Just put your best people on it. Extend that trust in the future. Don't worry about performance. And when good stuff happens, celebrate it. When bad stuff happens, hold public executions. You do these things, and you are on the glide path to a thoroughly miserable M&A integration. Thank you, as always, for tuning in today. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the Pacesetter Pod on the platform of your choice. You can do it from your device right now. If you want to support the show, considering leaving us a review. It's how we get the word out to others that need to hear this content. It's how we improve the quality of the content, and we really do appreciate it. And to continue the conversation, you can connect with me, Joe Mosier, on LinkedIn, or you can always set up a call directly by visiting us online at mosiercg.com. I would love to hear from you. Thanks again for listening. We love that you're a part of this program and hope that you have a safe day.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.